From the beginning of time, the world has known one motherland, one birthplace of humanity, one root from which all nations grew. Long before the name Africa existed, this vast continent carried a name full of power, identity, and divine meaning. That name was ALKÉBULAN. ALKÉBULAN, the oldest recorded name for the continent, was spoken by ancient Africans long before foreign empires arrived. In the languages of early civilizations, ALKÉBULAN meant the land of the blacks, the mother of mankind, and the garden of life. It was a name that told a story, the story of the first people to walk the earth, the first kings, the first scientists, the first astronomers, and the first nations that built the foundations of human civilization, generations before Greek philosophers ever wrote their scrolls. Kingdoms such as Kush, Punt, Kemet, Axum, and the Yoruba empires were already flourishing. They built astronomy systems aligned with the heavens. They developed mathematics, medicine, architecture, and spirituality that shaped entire civilizations. This land was not a mystery to its own children. It was home, it was sacred, and it was beautiful. But when foreign explorers arrived first, Greeks, later Romans, and much later European colonizers, they renamed ALKÉBULAN to reflect their power, not Africa's truth. The Greeks used the word Afrique, meaning without cold, describing the warm lands to the south of their world. The Romans later turned that into Africa, naming it after a minor Roman tribe called the Afri. Imagine it, an entire continent, the cradle of humanity, named after a small Roman clan that had nothing to do with its history. The renaming was not innocent. Names carry identity, memory, and power. When you change a name, you change how people see themselves. Erasing ALKÉBULAN was the first step in disconnecting Africans from their legacy, their wealth, their knowledge, and their place in scripture and world history. Because ALKÉBULAN was not just a name, it was a declaration that the first people on earth were black, that civilization began with black hands, and that the continent was a center of wisdom, not darkness. Throughout the ancient world, great nations spoke highly of ALKÉBULAN. The Hebrews, the Sumerians, the Arabs, and the early Christians recognized the land as the cradle of life. In biblical texts, lands like Kush, Ethiopia, and Egypt were central to prophecy, trade, and spiritual identity. These were not peripheral nations, they were global powers. Ancient Ethiopia was known as a kingdom feared and respected. Egypt, or Mizraim, was a land where science, medicine, architecture, and spirituality were so advanced that the world still studies its knowledge thousands of years later. Mali and Songhai built universities that attracted scholars from Europe and the Middle East. The Kingdom of Zimbabwe built cities with stone walls that stand strong to this day. Benin crafted bronze masterpieces that still cannot be replicated. Everywhere you look on the continent, greatness has always been present. But when the name changed, so did the narrative. ALKÉBULAN became Africa, and Africa was painted as a land of darkness, savagery, and poverty, a lie pushed for centuries to justify slavery, colonization, and exploitation. They changed the name, then they changed the story. They rewrote maps, erased nations, and distorted the identity of the people who built civilization. Yet the truth remains. ALKÉBULAN is older than any empire, older than any foreign tongue, older than any rewritten textbook. The continent was a giant pillar of life, trade, culture, and divine wisdom, while much of the world was still struggling to understand basic survival. When we speak the name ALKÉBULAN today, we reconnect to an ancient identity that predates colonial borders. We remember the kings and queens who ruled with honor. We remember the prophets who walked its lands. We remember the civilizations that thrived long before the world even understood what a kingdom was. ALKÉBULAN reminds us that Africa is not broken. It was broken into pieces by those who feared its greatness. It reminds us that Africans are not lost. Their stories were buried, but not destroyed. And it reminds us that the children of this continent carry a legacy that cannot be erased. A legacy written in stone, in scripture, in bloodlines, and in the memory of the earth itself. This is not just history. This is identity. This is truth. This is ALKÉBULAN, the motherland, the first home of humanity. The continent that continues to rise, shine, and reclaim the glory that was hidden for generations. And no matter how many times they change her name, her roots remain the same. Africa is Alkebulan, and Alkebulan lives forever.